Welcome to the Homeschool High School podcast, brought to you by Seven Sisters Homeschool.com and the Ultimate Homeschool Podcast Network. I'm Vicki, and I'm so excited to introduce everybody to my new friend who you might already know. So this is Maynard Okereke, and he is the HipHop Scientist, and he has the best story ever. I found him on Instagram, and when I read his or listened to his story, I go like, oh my gosh, this is the heart that us homeschool parents have for our teens. So let me just read a little bit, if you don't mind, Maynard. I'm going to read a little bit of your biography here because it's awesome. So Maynard is a super fun science nerd behind Maynard's Wild World of Science. He's not just a science lover, but an actual engineer who turned his love for music, acting, and science into a mission to make learning exciting for kids everywhere. I mean, that's homeschoolers for real, you know? Whether it's crazy nature explorations through the jungle or experiencing zero gravity on the Vomit Comet, he brings unique, curious energy to all his scientific adventures. He's been on Netflix's Ada Twist Scientist and shared cool facts on the Science Channel. And he started Hip Hop Science to show others, especially those who don't always see themselves in science, that anyone can be a scientist if they stay curious. When I read that, it just made my whole entire day. So, yeah. So, Maynard, if you don't mind, would you tell us your story? So, you have just a great story about your passion and your purpose, and so kind of give us an inside look there.
Yeah. Well, first off, thanks so much for having me. I appreciate it. It's always a pleasure to be able to support other platforms that are obviously helping our students and spearheading the younger generation, because that's obviously one area that I'm very passionate about.
Yeah.
So shout out to all of our homeschoolers out there that are doing amazing work, because it is definitely a trialing and testing feat to be able to do homeschool work, but it's much needed. So kudos to everyone out there. But yeah, basically you stated in my bio, I kind of gone through a roundabout journey to get to where I'm at today doing my work. I guess my official title now is a science communicator. I educate on various science topics, and anything under the umbrella of STEM is kind of my area of expertise now. My technical background is in civil environmental engineering from the University of Washington. And like you stated in the bio, I always had a love for entertainment, music, and acting. And I stepped away from engineering after working in the industry for a few years to come down to Los Angeles and to pursue some dreams that I had in entertainment. And kind of through that transition, still reconnected with my love for science, and kind of blended my ability to be able to do really unique things on the entertainment side and my kind of love for art, acting, and music, and also connecting my love for science to kind of bridge that gap between science and entertainment. And so that's what I try to bring to the table now with my platform, is bring a fun, youthful energy and excitement and curiosity to the world of STEM, showcase all the amazing opportunities that students have before them, pursuing a STEM career, how to pursue STEM careers, and really being able to just kind of spark that renewed fascination and love for science that we all intrinsically have as kids growing up, that we tend to lose over the course of our educational journey, trying to bring that youthful energy and that excitement in STEM back. And so being able to connect real life things, day-to-day things. And so that's kind of where the hip hop, science, and pop culture elements come in play, because I think the key to being able to connect with material and connect with learning and education is to be able to make it relatable. You be able to connect it to things that we experience. And we're all on social media. We all have our favorite movies. We all have our favorite books. We all have our favorite TV shows and favorite characters and artists that we love. And I try to find ways to be able to make those connections to day-to-day things that students especially, but even adults as well, that we're already connected to, but now be able to bring them home and be able to find the science within that. And so that's what I try to share day to day on my social media. And a lot of times people walk away and they don't even feel like they didn't even know that they were learning something. They were just being entertained and having fun along the ride. And that's kind of my goal. So you're having fun, and by the end of the day, you're like, wow, I've just gained this whole wealth of knowledge, and I didn't even feel like I was being taught to. And so that's how I wish I was taught when I was in school. Be able to make connections to things that I loved and be able to have that relatability. And so I try to bring that to a lot of the work that I do. So it's really
Yeah.
exciting. I mean, I mentioned, my background in engineering. That wasn't always necessarily my first passion. I actually have a huge love for wildlife and nature. That's an area that I've always been passionate about, and an area that I actually wanted to pursue originally when I went to school, and ended up getting talked out of it. And I still ended up in the STEM fields, obviously, because I was just a science nerd. I was a science lover. So regardless, I was going to end up somewhere in the STEM fields.
Yeah.
But yeah, I tried in tandem with my work of sparking curiosity and excitement. I also try to share on my platform about following your passion and following your purpose and being rooted in the things that you love doing. And I think that's really important for kids, especially too, because we're always going to be told different things as we're going through our educational journey, or have certain expectations that are going to be placed upon us. And sometimes those expectations aren't things that we necessarily want. But I like to showcase that you can find cool science related, STEM related connections to almost everything that you want to do. Whether you love dance, whether you love fashion, whether you love art, you can still be able to do what you love and be able to make a STEM related connection to it and open up some amazing doors in a STEM career, still infusing those things that you're passionate about and love doing. Could be sports, and so I try to showcase that through my story and kind of my roundabout journey that I've had to get into where I'm at today. And hopefully it helps inspire someone that's out there.
One of the things I enjoy about your YouTube channel, so it's Maynard's Wild World of Science, and it has all kinds of STEM related videos. So, and they're just the right length of time for young people to say, I'm just gonna watch a video real quick. But you've got things on sound, you got things on bugs, and then over on Instagram, I watched you jump into frozen lakes and to the Amazon, and like you
Yep.
have. And so tell us some of your adventures that you have had in the STEM world, doing all of your science and bringing science to young people.
Yeah, it's kind of been crazy because I never even look at it really as a job. These are things that I love doing and that I'd be pretty much doing anyway if I wasn't getting paid for it, or if I didn't have a specific reason to do that with my platform. But doing this work now as a science communicator has taken me to some really amazing places. I do a lot of space related content on my platform, and so I've been able to work with some unique space companies. I've had a chance to go on a zero gravity flight on board the Go Zero G to experience weightlessness here on Earth. It wasn't in low Earth orbit. Hopefully, and knock on wood, that's on my radar to try to get to someday. So maybe you might see me on a Blue Origin or Virgin Galactic flight or something similar in the near future. We'll speak that into existence.
There you go.
But I was able to share some cool facts around gravity and space exploration on board Go Zero G, which is where a lot of astronauts train before they actually go into outer space. So that was an absolutely amazing experience. I mentioned I'm a huge nature lover. I'm always exploring. I was always that kid lifting up rocks, finding whatever critters were in dirt. That was always me growing up, and that curiosity, that fascination's always stayed with me. And I've had a chance to work with some amazing organizations. I'm actually on the board of directors for this group called Reserva Youth Land Trust. It's the very first fully youth-funded nature reserve. So
Oh,
all of the work that we do is all funded by youth. And so the goal is to be able to get youth involved in activism, get youth involved in environmental efforts. And so we do a lot of campaigns throughout the year supporting different programs. And last year I had a chance to go to Panama and do a joint project with the Leatherback Project, which is a group that's helping save endangered sea turtles down in
yeah,
Panama. And
yeah.
so we raised money. We're able to get these satellite tags that we were able to put on these sea turtles and be able to track their migration patterns so that we could hopefully get this area protected as a national wildlife refuge, which we actually did. It was just announced at the end of last year that that project that we worked on helped provide enough data of where these sea turtles were migrating. So we're able to get an entire region of these islands, the Pearl Islands down in Panama, actually protected as a national wildlife refuge. So
Oh, how
so really, yeah, so doing some really amazing work on that front. And you mentioned earlier this year I was in Sweden in the Arctic. Had a chance to do a little polar plunge, but I was actually there working with a team of scientists, really exploring kind of the human condition in extreme environments.
mm,
And it doesn't get much more extreme than being in the Arctic and actually taking a dive in, 35-degree weather
oh,
and 35-degree ice. And that was amazing. Got a chance to see the aurora borealis there, the northern lights, which is an absolutely incredible experience. And obviously shared that whole experience on my platform. I had a lot of content that I pieced together for that trip. And I'm getting ready next weekend to head out to the Amazon rainforest. I'm going to be there for a week, working with an amazing group out there that's doing citizen science projects that are also helping support conservation efforts in the jungle to help protect a number of the species out there. So we're going to be on the hunt for new wildlife, finding new species that we'll hopefully be cataloging and doing some aerobotany, and also be doing some primate observations and setting up cameras at night to be able to track the unique wildlife that's roaming through the area. So a lot of amazing projects in the works, and a lot of them I still can't believe that I get the chance to do.
that is fabulous. And the way you share that with young people so that they know those are possibilities. Like if they watch your videos on the Amazon and know there's such a thing as citizen science, like,
Yeah.
and that the Amazon has all kind of cool things they hadn't even dreamed about, and the way
Yeah.
it does stuff.
Absolutely. And the fact that you don't even have to go to the Amazon to do citizen science. I've shared a lot of different things that are locally, things that you can do in your backyard. If you have a phone, or if your parents have a phone, you can use the iNaturalist app. And that's the most direct and easy way that you can participate in citizen science projects, literally finding insects or whatever things might be in your backyard and writing it down and tracking it, taking a picture of it and loading it onto the app. You're able to actually help scientists collect data that's going to go a long way in helping understand where species are at, how species are changing in different areas. And so there's always a lot of great opportunities that parents can be able to utilize to work with their kids and also have fun too. You get a chance to explore and actually do some science related work, and then be able to share that with students as well. So I always like to showcase that you don't have to necessarily go out to crazy places. A lot of these things can be extrapolated down to just where you're at and with the resources and tools that you have at home.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about the quote you had in one of your videos. You said that your passion leads to your purpose, and
Mm-hmm.
that you can't be passive anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So you are living your life that way.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but when you were a young person and you went off to college, you were discouraged from going into wildlife biology, that what you originally had in mind.
Mm-hmm.
What was it like as a young person to change STEM fields? And how did you make the most of engineering and then transition to your passion also about bringing science to young people? Like,
Mm-hmm.
what's the story there?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it was difficult, and for me too. I'm also first generation here. My mom's side is from Cameroon. My dad's side is from Nigeria. And so I was born here in the States, but I was actually raised early childhood overseas in West Africa.
Oh,
And so I have very West African roots, and so a lot of nuances, a lot of things when I first came back to the country were very much different for me. And so that a lot of that shaped my experience just culturally, being able to be impacted where I was. And then growing up in the Northwest, being exposed to a lot of different things that were unique in that space. But that transition, I had that love for nature and wildlife and wanted to explore it. And I was told by counselors, other educators, other peers, that there was no money in that field, that you need to go out and pursue something that you could actually make a living in. And everybody was like, you need to do computer science, you need to do engineering. That's where the money's at. And, as a first generation student and coming from a background where we didn't have much, I wanted to be able to go to school and be able to walk away with a good job that's going to be able to help support myself and my family. And luckily, I was like STEM, as far as that a whole umbrella of STEM. Engineering obviously falls within that umbrella. And, I love technology, I love design and all that as well too. So that wasn't a huge leap for me to necessarily go in engineering, but definitely wasn't what my original choice was. But I was still able to find some really amazing connections within that. I got involved in NSBE, National Society of Black Engineers, met a lot of other peers that look like me as well too, doing incredible work in STEM. And so that kept me invested, and that kept me motivated to continue to pursue that. And I kind of share this too in a lot of the keynote presentations I've done. Also, like looking back at it now, a lot of that kind of pushback as far as not pursuing what I usually wanted to pursue in wildlife biology wasn't necessarily all about money and that there wasn't really an opportunity to be successful. It also came to the lack of representation. There weren't other people that looked like me that were doing work in that field. There weren't really any use cases or examples of people that look like me having success in that area. And so seeing is believing, and I always say representation is key because we see what we believe. If you don't see others that look like doing that work, then you don't feel connected to it, and you don't feel like it's possible for you to explore that. And so a lot of the work that I try to do now is showcasing that representation, highlighting that representation. And that's why I love the opportunities to be able to do a lot of these crazy explorations that I get a chance to do, because growing up and watching National Geographic and Animal Planet, Discovery Channel, you're seeing all these amazing biologists in the Amazon and all these places doing work. None of those people ever look like me. And so
Yeah.
I get a chance to be able to showcase that to others, and to be able to spark that curiosity and that excitement and show that these opportunities are possible and that you can do amazing things if you put yourself out there and if you pursue a career in a STEM field, that there are others that look like you, and you can find a community. I've been able to find an amazing community of other people of color, gender diversity, racial diversity, which has been absolutely amazing. And being able to uplift each other and share our stories has been even much more motivation for me to be able to continue doing this work as well.
Yeah. And this is so exciting to me because, yeah, we needed people that look like all kinds of people doing the work of
Hmm.
science because we're all people together.
Yeah.
So, thank you for going into engineering because that was a good STEM field to go into, and then transitioning to the next thing. And so, what you're doing is bringing STEM to all kinds of young people so that they know that no matter what they look like, they can be interested in STEM and have a career
Yeah.
that is in STEM in all kinds of different areas. So you are representing and giving the permission
Hmm.
for young people to follow their passions, and that
Hmm.
gives them purpose. So thank you for being the
Yeah.
trailblazer for another generation.
I try. It's my pleasure. And that quote that you mentioned that I actually talked about in a recent post, for those that are interested, is when you find your passion, it becomes your purpose, and you can no longer be passive. So
Yeah,
kind of remembering those three P's, and that's something that's always stuck with me, because I always walk in passion. There are
yeah,
many things that I love doing, but you have kind of a new affinity for those things when you find purpose in it. And for me, taking that love of science and that love of exploring, and now having a purpose, which is showcasing representation and being able to help share this with the world and be able to help influence the next generation that may be interested in STEM and not know a pathway, being able to be that voice for that as well now. That's become my purpose, and now you can't be passive because you now know who this is supporting. And when you get kids and families and parents writing you and sending you messages, or people like yourself reaching out and sharing how much this work has been supportive to the work that you're doing, and that right there, prevents me from being passive at all, because I know that it's going somewhere. I know it's reaching people, and I know that it's important.
yeah. Yeah, and by the way, I just want everybody to know how gracious you are because you didn't know me from peanuts, and I just absolutely adore the Hip Hop Science Instagram. I look forward to every time there's a new post. I'm just going to just message Maynard and see if he would be like just clear sky, then that would be
Yeah.
great. And you make time for this while you're getting ready to go to the Amazon. So
Mhm.
our teens need to know that they have passion in their heart, and it
Mhm.
does not matter what they look like. It matters that the passion is in there on purpose, and they can make it their purpose, and to have
Yeah.
permission to do that. And then when they don't give up, if they're not passive, it can come about, and the coolest things can happen. So you're
Mhm.
modeling that for
Mhm.
all of our young people. So thank you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. And that, like I said, that keeps me purpose driven. I know that this is important. And these are the things that I wish I had when I was younger. And so the very least that I can do is be able to give back
Yeah.
and be able to change the outlook for somebody else that looks like me, that may be in the same position that I was in, that may not see hope, may not feel any support around them. Letting them know that, hey, these fields are for you. There are people that look like you doing this work, and there are, more importantly, there are opportunities for you to be successful
Yeah.
doing this work as well too. And you can bring all of your creative elements, you can bring your true authentic self to the table, be you, your flair, your passion, your happiness, your desire, your
Mhm.
enthusiasm, whatever it is that you care about. Bring all of what is you and your personality to the table, and you can still have an amazing successful career in STEM.
Yeah. All right. So let's tell everybody how to find you, because you're kind of pervasive. You got websites, you got YouTube, you got Instagram. So tell everybody how to find the hip hop scientist in Maynard's wild world of science.
Yes, yes. Well, you can definitely find everything you want to know about me on my website, hiphopscienceshow.com. I do a lot of in-person public speaking, whether it's keynotes, whether it's popping up at schools, doing presentations, and so I'm always very supportive on that front. So any bookings and things like that, I'll go through my website. But on social media, you can pretty much find me on every platform. I'm on Instagram, I'm on TikTok, at Hip Hop Science Show. And on YouTube, I have my Hip Hop Science Show platform, but I also just launched, like you mentioned earlier, a new YouTube Kids Show. And so for those that have kids at home and are looking for something fun and kid friendly and safe for your kids and also educational, I have a YouTube Kids Show, Maynard's Wild World of Science, that just launched just a couple weeks ago. And we have a few episodes already out. We got a wave of new episodes coming in. I've been filming new episodes all this week at our studios and going on some pretty cool explorations and capturing content. A lot of it will be some Amazon content
Yeah.
while I'm in the jungles in the next couple of weeks. But that's an amazing resource there, and I'm working right now with my team on making some connected lesson plans and activities and handouts that homeschool parents and educators as well can be able to use in tandem to a lot of that content that I'll be sharing on that platform. And so I want to make sure it's a good resource and that obviously you walk away feeling, enjoyed and entertained watching the content, but then now you have some relevant tools that you can be able to share with students as well too.
That is so exciting. So I'll put links to all of this in the show notes and in the comments on our YouTube channel. So golly, this is just
Awesome.
such a blessing. All right. So Maynard, thank you for taking time out today. I know you're really busy, but it's going to be a blessing for everyone who gets a chance to listen and to watch. So
Amazing. Thank you so much. And cheers to you for the amazing work that you do and continue to build and develop this community. It's really important and you're doing incredible work out there to support our youth. So I'm happy to be here and advocate for you as well.
we're all in this together. Well, this has
Yeah.
been the Homeschool High School podcast brought to you by Seven Sisters Homeschool.com and the Ultimate Homeschool Podcast Network. Thank you to Seth Tillman for editing, and we'll see everyone next week.